Welcome to the Jocker Room. Everybody loved our first tier list, clearly. We did not separate into additional tiers, but today we are going to be covering the QBs. Last time we did wide receivers, so if you haven't seen that, check that out. This time we're going to do quarterbacks because those are just the position everybody is just going to agree with us 100%. There's going to be no problem whatsoever. Everybody's 100%. Especially when we get to guys like Justin Herbert, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott. People are going to definitely agree with what we have to say here. So if you're excited to see those, let's get
Are
into it.
you in the same boat as the wide receivers as there's a very, very, very small S, possibly only
Oh,
one S,
absolutely. Absolutely.
um, and then very, very little A. Are you in that same
I'm
kind of
I'm a fan of big A's, but
okay?
um yeah, I would say 1 to 2 S's in every position will probably be how we go, just
Sure,
because S means you're the best of the best.
right, and you're
So
sexy most of the time. So,
So, little
um,
spoiler alert for people, there were 2 S's for wide receivers. They are probably exactly who you're thinking of if you have a brain. Um,
if I only had a
both
brain,
both teams coming with from M.
yeah,
M as in
right,
Miami and Minnesota.
right.
We're gonna go same thing as last time, just by in order. We're not gonna go by like tier. We're gonna go like this down the list.
Sure.
So this is in order, alphabetical order by team. So if you are here just to see, New Orleans Saints where they go to Derek Carr, that'll be all the way once we get to ends. So it'll be a little bit of a
Sure.
ways, but we're going to start with Arizona Cardinals, go down to, Atlanta Falcons, Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo, so on.
Got
So
it.
let's start with a guy. I did have to raise his image up a little bit just to make him visible here. But there's 2 here. The one right there and where is right here?
Is
I
that
had to
there?
raise these 2 guys
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray. Um, so for those of you that like, Madden, I think his popularity came from how broken he was in the game. They
Sure.
immediately made him like a 90 overall after 1 season because
Right.
he runs fast.
Yeah.
I think he's extremely overrated. I'm just gonna get before we put him in a tier, I'm just gonna say
Sure.
that right now. He throws a good ball, but decision making, footwork, play recognition,
Right.
all of that in terms of like when you're breaking down film, what makes a good quarterback a good quarterback? The big hot term everybody loves using in the NFL right now is game manager. When it
Right.
comes to actually managing the game, he does not do a good job of managing the game.
Yeah,
To
I'm
be
gonna
an
give
elite
him
quarterback, you got to manage the game.
I'm gonna give him I do think he's overrated.
Yep,
Um
he's still good.
he's still good. He's still good. I think he's kind of grown on me over the last season just because the talent in the NFC has kind of gone away. Aaron Rodgers is out. I don't know. It's he's kind of grown on me more over the last season. I know he was injured,
And
but
I
yeah,
do we
right
do
off the
want to tell
bat,
people as well, just like last time, C, D, like these don't mean we don't mean that this is bad. We don't mean that this is bad. Okay. To be C means you are the bar.
right,
So if you want your team to be a competitive team, you need a C or better
right.
quarterback.
And I do want to give kind of the benefit of the doubt to Kyler Murray. He had a while DeAndre Hopkins is very good, he was not Houston DeAndre Hopkins.
Right.
And they haven't had talent at all on the offensive side of the ball, and they've had very minimal talent on the defensive side of the ball. So I
Lost
feel
Christian
for him
Kirk.
there.
AJ Green was less than a shell of himself.
Right,
Zach Ertz, Scott kept getting hurt. James Conner was not Pittsburgh James Conner. DeAndre
right.
Hopkins was not Houston DeAndre
Marquise
Hopkins.
Brown had to play with backups
Right.
like Josh Dobbs until Kyler got there. Cliff
They basically
Kingsbury
traded
was
away
not
all of his
great.
talent and hoped that he could carry. But that tends to
Right,
happen when you require like fully guaranteed massive contracts. Just saying.
right. So, I mean, would you consider him in the C? then? Is that where you put him? Or would you put him better than that? Because I think he's an NFL quarterback.
Yep.
So it's like
So this is one of the hardest ones for me to do. I feel like because I'm so torn. We can do what we did last time, like with Gabe Davis, where we can put
sure,
him in B or C. We can always change our minds. We're not going to be one of those
sure,
people that locks in. I personally would put him as like low B, high C.
sure.
So where
I
should we
initially
start
was
him
going to
out?
put him in C. Let's put him in high
Okay.
C. Now he's the best quarterback on the list.
He's currently the best quarterback on the
So,
list.
so
Um, so Desmond Ritter,
okay.
uh,
I don't think there's any explanation
we
needed
don't really
there.
need to explain you have they people are talking about if they signed Kirk Cousins, they'd immediately be Super Bowl contenders. If one player at that position changes your value that much, there's probably a massive problem at that position.
They
Desmond
got
Ritter was awesome in college. He is not an NFL quarterback. He is
no, they
below average.
yeah, I agree. If you put Cousins on that team, they had a top 10 defense. Joshua Dobbs exposed them a little bit, which is not saying much, but
Right.
he did beat the Falcons.
They've also, I don't like crapping on GMs all the time, but their GM, I believe, has the worst analysis of in-house defensive players. The amount of in-house defensive players that he has let walk, gotten
Yeah.
rid of, cut is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Them
I
and the
also think
Cardinals.
just the offense, the young offensive talent that they've had over the years and just completely underutilized how to use them.
You even
As
underutilized Julio Jones.
yeah, Julio, Kyle Pitts, Bijan, like Drake London, Calvin Ridley. Like it's the list goes on and on.
Right, like
So
Kyle Pitts could just be, one of those like young tight ends tend to struggle. Obviously, there are outliers, Gronk,
kind of like
Laporta.
I kind of put him in I think he could have like an Evan Ingram kind of trajectory. Like
Yeah,
Evan Ingram had a lot of struggles with the Giants and then he went to Jacksonville, had a career year, and now
you
he's
put him with a
probably a
good
top
quarterback
10.
and in a good system.
Right, he's probably a top 10 tight end right now. So from a
So because
production
of that,
standpoint.
I think Desmond Ritter's an F.
Right. I agree. I
um,
agree with that.
so
Oh, we're gonna ruffle some feathers coming up.
for this next one, I definitely think this might be where you and I might even differ.
Okay.
So like we've mentioned, there's one or two S's. There might only be a couple A's. Baltimore is Lamar Jackson. Um, if we're gonna say there are two S's, Lamar would be my second S.
Okay. I I mean, the MVP, he's probably a two-time MVP after this
Yes.
year.
I get that his
Uh,
playoff numbers aren't great and he kind of crumbles,
he
but
has to. But okay,
Patrick Mahomes has had four good
exactly.
quarters out
That's
of
exactly it. That's
yeah.
exactly it. Especially for like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Like you can say their playoff success is not great, but they have to go through Mahomes every year.
Yeah.
So,
And Patrick Mahomes
um,
is he had like a 70 quarterback rating in his first one, a 50 in his second, and then like 130 in his third.
he would have four rings right now if not for the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes would.
Yep.
So,
Two
I mean,
playoff losses, both to Tom Brady.
without this guy, he would have gone 4 for 4. So,
Yep.
um, I'm okay putting Lamar in S. I would have put him as the highest A if we didn't put him in S. So,
Okay. And if we want to lower him to A, I'm okay with that. I think making him earn it with another playoff win is fair. I just think we've
here's
never
the
seen
thing,
like
though.
people say
Mark,
Mike Vick is what he's not Mike Vick. He is Lamar Jack. No, I've never seen a quarterback like him. He's
he
insane.
the fact he did that with I mean, they were the best team in the AFC with no Mark Andrews, no receivers.
Yep.
Their starting running back like tore his ACL. And so like him and Gus Edwards just carried the shit out of the Baltimore Ravens.
His
So
failures in that, especially this year's playoff game, obviously it's always going to be partially your fault, but the game plan was the biggest problem. Like
Yeah. Well,
he's
yeah, it
the
had 6
Ravens are
rushing
lucky
attempts.
that things like Dan Campbell have overcome the media's discussion because the
Did you
play
see
calling was so bad.
yeah, well, okay, so the Ravens throughout the year averaged 21 rushing attempts, like run plays
Hmm.
per year. They had 6 versus the Chiefs.
Yeah, with like
6 designed run plays versus the Chiefs.
yep, on against a team that you could run against.
Right. And I know that the Chiefs defense is like insane, but like you also have Lamar Jackson. Like,
Right, their pass defense is insane. Their run defense
right.
is like 21st.
Yeah. So,
It doesn't make any
yeah,
sense. I would keep Lamar here. We can always
sure.
move him if needed. Um,
Sure.
Josh Allen.
Is this where we're going to ruffle feathers? Because
So I think we talked about overrated with Kyler.
yeah.
Josh Allen is another one of those. You can, even if you were to say he was an A, I still think you could say he's overrated.
I think he got carried by a miracle Stephon Diggs season.
He
Like
did.
he
And well, this
was
year he didn't.
this year he didn't. But that like last season when he's like, oh yeah, he's the second best in the AFC or third best in the AFC. When it was Mahomes and then him, it was Stephon Diggs being a top 3 wide receiver, is what it was. So
Okay.
um what would
So
you do here?
what would I
Because
do? So I need to acknowledge my own personal bias because if you're asking what my heart says, my heart puts him in a B.
okay.
But if you're asking my brain, push the bias aside, I think he is an A quarterback. What do you think?
Well, I'm trying to see who we compare him to.
You
And I think that's tough. I think
right.
that's
So
tough putting him in the same thing as say the guy in two goes.
yeah, sure.
So
So
because
maybe
there's
we
playoff success there.
yeah.
Is
Yep.
there
And I
so
think so
we're here to
we're
ruffle feathers.
we
So
are
I
here
would
to
put him in B. I would
okay. You know what? Yeah, we're here to ruffle feathers. We're here to be honest. Josh Allen, this year's second in MVP odds. Um, yeah, no, he turns the ball over too much. He is Jameis Winston with better PR. There you go. Next, so there for those of you maybe that are just listening, as Josh Allen is a B tier quarterback, just basically Jameis Winston with better PR. Bryce Young. It's hard to judge a rookie, but I would put him as D.
okay.
I
I
didn't like him
wouldn't.
coming out. You'd put him in
I'd put
F?
him in F. I would.
Sure.
He had like 9 touchdowns this
Dude,
entire
I'm
season.
fine with that. Would you? I would even put him right with Desmond
I
Ritter. I'm
yeah. I'd put
um
him above Ritter
sure.
just because there's potential.
Um I think I didn't like Bryce Young. I thought CJ Stroud was the top choice. I thought
So did Frank
Anthony Richard
Reich.
was the second choice. And then I thought after those two guys, I didn't like Will
100%.
Levis. I didn't like Bryce Young. There was just no quarterbacks outside of
I
those
like
two.
Dorian Thompson
Tom,
Robinson there.
yeah, he was up there for me. I just him and Anthony Richardson, I was like, without the right coach,
Sure.
system,
Right.
person in front of him, I didn't Anthony Richardson exceeded my expectations, even
Well,
though
he
I had him
broke.
as my second
See,
best
the
QB.
thing with Anthony Richardson is everyone's like he's so raw, right? Like
Yeah.
he's raw. All this like he can throw the ball 500 yards. Like,
Yeah.
but for a guy to go into the combine and break basically every quarterback like physical traits,
Right.
like that is like at that point it's like well shit
You have
like
to.
you have to.
Which
So
I felt the same when Jordan Love came out of the draft. I was like, man, if he gets into the right situation, as long as he doesn't start right away, he'll be good.
yeah.
When Anthony Richardson came out, I was like, as long as he doesn't start right away, he's good. Jordan Love, I thought when he started early on, he looked like he was raw.
Yeah, the
Anthony
first half of the
Richardson looked
season.
so much better than I expected.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm very happy for him. So
Yeah.
but yeah, Bryce Young, the guy we were talking about
He
there.
probably got bailed out a little bit by just Adam Thielen still being okay.
Adam
So
Thielen's so good. He almost
yeah,
he like 1,000
he
yards. It
did it. He
was
was like 1,014. Yeah.
he almost broke Steve Smith Sr.'s reception record with 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So Bryce Young got carried by a team that even free agent, some of the best coaches we've ever seen, probably the best free agent coaching
Yeah.
class we've seen. Nobody wanted to go there,
Going back to your CJ Stroud comment, Frank Reich also wanted CJ Stroud.
which is why he got fired.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but ownership led them to Bryce Young, and here we are.
The next guy on this list, so Bryce Young, for those listening, we put in F tier. Joe Burrow is the next one, Cincinnati Bengals. I think we'll just, I mean, I'm just gonna spoiler alert this like rest of this list here. I don't think anybody is going to be a higher A tier than Joe Burrow.
Sure.
He is, if you don't have Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, he's the best guy you want.
Here's the only thing I have to say about Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow healthy is an A tier. I think Joe Burrow hurt is a B tier.
Sure.
He just like health.
So would you rather have Josh Allen or Joe Burrow?
Healthy?
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
How about hurt?
Probably Josh Allen. Because he can run. Like Josh Allen is more.
That's kind of fair because any quarterback who's hurt isn't. I mean, they're not going to play anyway.
Right. But I mean, like, at least Josh Allen can take a hit.
Joe Burrow to me is like CMC. He got traded because he's like hurt all the time, and his reputation is gets hurt all the time.
Right.
But he's worth the risk because when he's not hurt, nobody's really better.
Yeah.
The only person that competes with Patrick Mahomes in terms of overall quarterbacking when he's fully healthy,
MVPs
Joe Burrow.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just think that he was very middling this year, but he was also hurt the entire year. Yeah. So that's all I have to say about Joe Burrow, but I think he belongs in that A as well.
I would, yeah. I don't think it's right to put him outside of A.
Yeah, no.
Joe Burrow, A tier. Next is Justin Fields. I don't think I can put him above Kyler.
I'm okay with that. I don't think so. Kyler can throw the ball.
Kyler can throw the ball, and he can outrun him.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is a more powerful runner, but Kyler Murray is going to
quick, shifty.
Right. Yeah, he's more exciting to watch, but not necessarily as efficient of a runner. I think Justin Fields got screwed being put on the Bears with constant switching of offenses.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Is the do the Arizona Cardinals have a better offense than the Bears if they had DJ Moore?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So
would you put Justin Fields below in C, or would you put him in D?
I'd put him in C. I mean,
because here's what I think. This is just, kind of side topic, but the Texans last year took CJ Stroud and traded back up for Will Anderson.
Sure.
Went picks 2, 3.
Yeah.
Currently this year, pick number 3 is the New England Patriots.
Right.
I think the Patriots are one of those teams like the Texans. They have a good base, but they do need a couple stars in order to win. If the Chicago Bears wanted to, they already have a couple top 5 picks, but if they wanted to really,
they have 1 and 8. Is that sound right? 1 and 7,
1 and 5, I think actually.
They're
2 really high picks.
Right.
I think the Bears need to load up because they're so weak everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, all those teams are.
So. Trading Justin Fields for number 3 overall, if they could get that, would be insane. But if you could do number 3 and that second, like swapping that third for that later,
8,
like 8 or whatever, and Justin Fields to the Patriots, so that they could draft Marvin Harrison with whoever they take at 1, if they do keep 1. Or they can wheel and deal again and trade down with at 3 for even more.
Right.
But I think Justin Fields with a better system and a team that wants to use him properly, if they still had Bill Belichick, that's what I would have done.
So what's tough? What's tough is those, now that the Commanders hired Dan Quinn, I forget. Is it Gerard Mayo? Is he the Patriots coach now?
Yeah. Yep.
Gerard Mayo. So those are both defensive guys.
Yep.
And so, will a defensive-minded head coach want to risk a franchise, like getting a franchise quarterback, because that could just ruin your entire tenure,
But I
like
also think
off
they're
the
smart
bat?
enough to say we are defense, which also means we're run first, which means a quarterback that can get 50 plus yards a game rushing.
Right, right. I just think those
I'd rather him in
front
Commanders for the
teams,
weather wise.
those front teams, like the Commanders especially, maybe even the Bears, maybe even the Patriots. I think those teams could all like won't be like I'm taking a franchise quarterback. I think they could be interested in trading back
Sure.
just because they need you right. They need
Got to
talent.
load up.
Right. So
So overall, we'll put Justin Fields at C for now. I hope he gets into a better situation because
yeah.
he even said goodbye to the Bears. He knows he's done.
Yeah.
And then quickly here. um, So this next one we had to add a quick tier there for those that aren't able to watch. Deshaun Watson, we're gonna put in this P tier for should be in prison. Um, Currently our pinned tweet. If you follow us on Twitter, you know our opinion on Deshaun Watson. If you don't know, go to Twitter and just watch our pinned tweet video. That'll be plenty because we have discussed Deshaun Watson enough. Go ahead and say whatever you want about his skills. I honestly I wouldn't put him above Kyler Murray or Justin Fields by how he's performing anyway.
no.
When you add how much his contract is worth, you might as well have a guy like Desmond Ritter and
You can get mad at Kirk for getting 2-3 years, 84 million fully guaranteed, but Deshaun Watson's is like 5 years, 240 fully
you
guaranteed.
know,
So
and not to mention, I don't care if he was acquitted or whatever. Just same. There's a couple massive stories, massive court
where there's
cases.
smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, so
So
he allegedly did what he did, but yeah, he doesn't even belong in the tiers with these NFL players because he shouldn't be in the NFL anymore.
right.
Um, so yeah, he's in a P tier, P as in prison.
Sure.
D, Dak Prescott, Cowboys quarterback. I I have a soft spot for Dak, but
Sure.
I have a very strong disdain for the Cowboys.
Sure.
So it's hard because like I started really getting into doing my own mock drafts in like 2016 or so. That was when Dak got
Sure.
drafted. That's when I started like publishing mock drafts online on things like Walter Football. And I remember getting comments. The first time I got a reply on a mock draft was my putting Dak Prescott to the Saints, having the Saints trade into the first round to draft Dak Prescott in the first. Um, I had him as a first round grade. People wanted him to switch to tight end. So I have that soft spot. I like Dak Prescott a lot.
Sure. He had a really, really good season this
He
year.
did. He did have.
He told all the haters that he was going to have under 10 interceptions this year, and he went out and had under 10 interceptions this year, as well as just completely popping off with CD Lamb.
So for
So
those who aren't doing the visuals, you might miss what I'm doing here. I'll see Joe's reaction based on what I do, see what he thinks.
you put him above Josh Allen.
I would rather have Dak Prescott over Josh Allen, yes.
I I mean we did the wide receiver tier list,
Mm-hmm.
and CD Lamb is that dude.
Yeah,
But
he is.
CD Lamb is not CD Lamb without someone throwing him the football. So if you're basing it off of this season,
If you want to do this,
100%,
that's fine.
100% Dak should be above Josh Allen if we're doing this season. That's
Okay.
just my opinion.
Do you want to? Well, I don't think we can
Overall,
say this season because then Joe Burrow would be
okay,
down.
sure.
So it's
I'm I'm
overall.
I'm fine with that.
So
Nice.
Josh Allen over Dak.
Probably, yeah. I mean, they both had that miracle season with Josh Allen's seen more playoff success, if that makes sense.
Yep. I think
So
it's fair to say he's not better than Josh Allen at the moment, but my personal bias wants to put him above
he's
Josh.
better than an average quarterback.
But he is
So
better than the average quarterback, and so in fairness, we'll put Dak Prescott in that B tier.
sure.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he did have a pretty good season. I'd put him in D.
Okay,
I
D's
would put
fine.
him in D because
Um,
he had a pretty good season. He also has a complete asshole as a coach, so I got to give him a little bit of the benefit of the
I
doubt.
mean,
But
yeah, I mean, you just asshole to asshole, man. He
right,
just he
yeah,
might when all of your teammates aren't able to
there's
back
just
you up.
something off about him. You know what I mean?
I
Like
don't
it's
know.
just.
I think it's just either disingenuous or he's one of those like really awkward guys that people don't know how to behave around.
Did you know when he got the job or when he got traded with the Broncos, he requested his own office?
Yeah, he had his own office, his own parking spot. He had different like arrival times. These are all alleged, whatever,
Right.
but alleged didn't have to arrive with the team. Had his own like area of the stadium.
Yeah. It's
And
just
the first
weird.
thing he did was the first thing Sean Payton did was remove all of that.
Yeah.
But I, as a quarterback standpoint, I would rather have almost every other starting quarterback in the NFL almost purely because of how much his contract is
Right.
versus what you're getting. What made Russell Wilson special doesn't happen anymore. You don't see him scramble for 9 seconds. I don't know if it's because he
Right.
physically can't, if it's his age, or if he's decided he wants to be a pocket guy. But due to his height, with the guys in front of him all being 6'6" or taller pretty much,
Right.
he's not going to be a pocket guy. And as soon as you take scrambling away from Russell Wilson, he becomes just dog water.
Right.
Um,
No.
so I think he fits perfectly in that D tier for dog water.
Sure. Sure.
Would you
I
rather
agree.
have a unknown rookie quarterback or Russell Wilson? I'm taking the unknown rookie.
What gives you a better chance to win, though? It's kind of my basis. A Bryce Young or Desmond Ritter or Russell Wilson? Because Russell
Right,
Wilson
that's why
probably
he's
gives you the
slightly
better.
above
I
them.
agree. Right.
But
That's my
what gives you a better
basis.
chance to win, Justin Fields or Russell Wilson? Probably Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Because
Kyler
Justin
for
Fields might not
sure.
be as good of a passer.
Kyler for sure gives you a better chance to
But
win.
Kyler for sure. All these guys above him yeah, I just
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's
Sure.
not even an average quarterback anymore.
Right.
Next, so Russell Wilson, D tier.
Now we're
Jared
getting into the
Goff.
game managers.
The next one's not, I'll tell you that. Uh Jared Goff almost was the second or third quarterback ever to take two teams to a Super Bowl.
Right.
Almost. However, so the only thing I'm more bored of and annoyed of than MJ versus LeBron is Brock Purdy a good quarterback?
Sure.
That is the only topic I am more annoyed of right now in sports because I think it's people on this side aren't changing their opinion. People on this side aren't changing your opinion. So you can argue for 45 minutes and get nowhere, or you just move on, and don't talk about it.
Sure.
Um, but the thing I hear about Brock Purdy all the time is if he didn't have all those weapons around him, getting all that like yak and whatever, he wouldn't be a good quarterback. He's just not good.
Sure.
I made a sarcastic tweet after the NFC Championship game, which was any game manager could be doing this with all this talent around him and getting all this yak. And then my examples were Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta, Jameer
Sure.
Gibbs, David Montgomery, because Jared Goff was surrounded by an like had to be
Offense is very good.
yet one of the top 5 surrounding casts in the NFL. Oh God. Um, the fact that Jared Goff couldn't take them further and how he's been traded, I don't think Jared Goff is as good as many people believe. I think Jared Goff is the definition of replaceable.
He got it's the same kind of thing. Like, do I think Jared Goff is a good quarterback? Yes. Obviously. Like 12-5 Denver Broncos or Denver
Yep.
Broncos, Detroit Lions. But they also ran the ball like 50 times a game
Yeah.
because their O-line is insane.
I
So,
personally would put him here.
okay. I'd probably put him above Kyler, but I would put him in C as well. So,
Okay, I think for now we're gonna leave him here.
sure.
Um, we
Got
can
build
move
up
in.
because Amon Ra is a top 7 guy, like a top 8 guy too.
We'll, we'll
So
we'll do that. So Jared Goff currently is the standard. You have to be better than Jared Goff to win a Super Bowl. Next guy. So we're gonna try to move it along a little bit because we're going long
oh god,
again,
yeah,
but
we're
we
zooming.
we tend to have that issue.
Sure.
So Jared Goff we put in C tier, right above Kyler Murray, right below Dak Prescott. CJ Stroud, my darling. I thought he was the clear number one. I didn't think there was
Sure.
anybody that looked better. He was one of my favorite prospects. So everybody wants to crown him already. I think it's a little unfair to say, "Oh, he's A tier." So
Right.
I would put him in this B tier though.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
I
it's
agree with
fair to
that.
already say he's B tier. He's right up there with Josh Allen and Dak Prescott. I know most
Yeah.
people hear, oh my God, he's in the Josh Allen tier, but people also put Josh Allen in the
He
Patrick
is,
Mahomes
dude.
tier.
Look what freaking Nico Collins did out of
Yeah. There's
freaking
your perfect example of why we think Josh Allen is where he is. You put Josh Allen with Patrick Mahomes? No. Absolutely not. But do you
yeah.
put CJ Stroud around these guys? Yes.
Yeah.
But would you put CJ Stroud with Pat Mahomes? No.
Dude,
So it makes
CJ
way more.
Stroud would rip it to Stephon Diggs. He'd rip it to CD Lamb. Like he'd do that same thing. So
Absolutely. I love
yeah.
CJ Stroud. If you're
Yeah.
asking my heart, I'm just putting him up in S tier. He's Hall of Fame for me already.
Sure.
But for now, we'll put CJ Stroud in the B tier.
Sure.
Next one's painful because it is the Green Bay Packers, and we are primarily Vikings fans. I like 31 teams. The one team I really I tend to favor certain teams based on how their fans act when I'm at Vikings games. So Jordan Love, Green Bay Packers. He looks like the real deal. He's better
He's
than Jared
nice.
Goff. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the first half of the season was very rough.
Right, but he picked it up because this was his
Right.
first season full starter.
Right.
He's basically a rookie quarterback, just like CJ Stroud, and he took his.
But he's not CJ Stroud.
But he's not CJ Stroud, so I
Right.
would put him as.
I agree with that's where I would put him
So
too.
I would put Jordan
So
Love C tier, but the best C tier you could get. Will he be higher next year? Probably.
yeah.
But for now, I think he's not a B tier quarterback. He is that. If you could you upgrade from him? Absolutely. But are you happy with him? Probably. Anthony Richardson. This one's kind of hard. He got hurt so
You got to put
early.
him in D, I think. You got to put him there just because we don't know.
We don't know. He's an
People
unknown.
don't know.
So Anthony
Yeah.
Richardson, I think after next season, he's going to be in the C, B for
Yeah.
us. But for now, he's got to be that D tier. And honestly, you can probably put him in D tier because he's probably got a massive one.
Right.
Um,
The Colts big thing though, Colts got to bring Michael Pittman Jr. back for that success to continue,
sure.
in my opinion. So
Michael Pittman, yeah, necessary.
yeah.
Matt Stafford, constantly underrated in Detroit, still underrated in the Rams. Won a Super Bowl, never talked about now.
Puka's numbers, man.
Puka, Cooper
Like,
Cup,
yeah.
like he's made all of his number ones become talked about in the league.
Yeah.
They never run the ball because they don't need to,
But now they got a
but now they have
insane
a
running
running
back.
back.
Yeah.
So
So
I personally would put Matt Stafford in the B tier.
there. Okay.
What do you think?
I'd put him above Jordan Love. That's where I would put
In
him.
C tier?
Yeah.
I gotta be more respectful to a Super Bowl winning
Right.
QB that's
Yeah.
still slinging it. I gotta put Matt Stafford in the B. This next one's gonna be hard for me. If you asked me last year, Trevor Lawrence would have been like B A, just
Yeah.
because his potential, but he hasn't shown me jack.
Right.
He's tried different. He's getting through coaches and all that, but
Yeah.
um, for now, I would put him as a C tier quarterback.
Sure.
I don't know if I'd put him above Jordan Love or right below Jordan Love.
I'd put him below Jordan Love.
So I'd probably put him top C tier, where again, at this point you might be fine having to replace him, but
Sure.
you're also okay seeing where he can take you.
Right.
Next quarterback is top 10 QB in the league, Kirk Cousins. Might not be a Minnesota Viking next year. Hope he is, but Kirk Cousins has been a top 10 quarterback every single season of his career. People crap on him all the time in the media. They just rehash the same thing. Can't do prime time, all that crap. They don't ever do their own research. They don't look into stats. They just repeat what all this BS is Kirk Cousins is an A-tier quarterback. Um, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Kirk Cousins over
Dude, he was
Josh
number
Allen. I'd
one.
rather have
Number
Kirk
one.
Cousins over Dak.
He was number one QB before he got hurt this
I don't.
season.
Sorry,
He
we're
would
here to
have been
ruffle
MVP.
feathers.
He would have been MVP this season if he didn't get hurt.
They say like, oh, he's top 5 some season. No, he's number 1 this year until he got hurt.
Right.
Justin Jefferson, just listen to him talk about Kirk. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins take you to a Super Bowl? Absolutely. Has he yet? No. But could he? Absolutely. I would take Kirk Cousins over Josh Allen any day of the week because Kirk Cousins isn't throwing. Could you see Josh Allen throwing 30 picks like Jameis in a season? I could. Could I see Kirk
or at
Cousins
least 30
ever
turnovers?
I could never see Kirk throwing 30.
Yeah,
just couldn't
for
see
sure.
it.
This one's easy.
Patrick Mahomes, S tier. Don't even have to think about it. Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback possibly we've ever seen. Derek Carr.
Put him in D for Derek Carr.
D for Derek Carr. He just has fallen off. Even on the Raiders, he was just okay.
Right. Aiden O'Connell.
This is Aiden O'Connell from the Raiders. That is an F tier. Probably the only person I'd put like below Bryce Young besides Desmond Ritter.
Sure.
Daniel Jones. We're gonna keep him D for Daniel.
D for Daniel Jones. Yeah. I agree.
We'll put him above Derek Carr just because Danny Dimes might run us a little bit.
Right.
Some of these are real easy.
Yeah, you can even put him above Russ too.
Yeah, we could probably put him above Russ, but either way, I don't want any of these 3 guys on my team. I'd be fine putting Danny Dimes in F.
I also would.
You know what? We're gonna do that. Justin Herbert. This is another one. Josh Allen, everybody probably would say he's an A. Justin Herbert, I would probably at this moment.
I would. You had it. I would.
I see. Yeah. Justin Herbert. If you want to break down primetime stats, you want to jock on guys like Kirk Cousins. Justin Herbert's stats get worse when you get to the red zone, worse when you get to the fourth quarter, worse when you get to prime time, worse when you get into the opponent side of the field. Yeah. Justin Herbert is not that guy right now. Maybe he will be, but he's not that guy. Justin Herbert, I like him a lot. I would have taken him over Tua. I think he's a great thrower of the football, but as of right now, he is a thrower. He's a gunslinger.
Yeah, their offense was stacked too.
Again,
just and their defense was stacked too.
Just like Jared Goff. How do you have all those weapons and I get it, your coach keeps switching all this crap. I just think Justin Herbert is severely underperforming, and when you break down and actually look at where he performs and then where he goes down,
it's empty stats. He's throwing 5,000 yards every season. But they were like 4. I don't even know what they were, like 4-11, 5-11, 5-12. What I don't know. They were. That's every year, man.
Right. We're back. We just did Justin Herbert because we did kind of skim over a couple. Maybe we'll just do a quick since we're doing a part. We were just doing 2 parts here. Patrick Mahomes, we said was obvious. Kirk Cousins, I do want to go back on him for a second. His stats, again, he gets better when you get into the opposing territory. He gets better when you get into that fourth quarter, and he gets better in game-winning drives. What he provides to the team is more than what these guys below him provide, and I just want to toss that in there.
Yeah. No.
Justin Herbert is the exact opposite. What every national media market says about Kirk Cousins is actually true about Justin Herbert. But for some reason, they all want to put Herbert in the same tier as Joe Burrow and Josh Allen.
All right.
You want to put Justin Herbert in that tier, and with up with those guys, you'd rather give Justin Herbert $300 million, and yet you aren't even going to make the playoffs with a stacked offense and a good defense.
Yeah.
Just, I don't get where it comes from. How about he earns it first? Kirk Cousins at least made the playoffs. Josh Allen's made the playoffs. And you want to put guys like Justin Herbert, it blows my mind. The love for Justin Herbert.
Because Herbert lost that 28-point collapse to the Jags. Yep. So something like that. Yeah. 4 touchdown lead. Something like that. Crazy.
Just like, Even now, I would be fine putting Jordan Love in B or C. I can't see myself putting Justin Herbert
See,
higher than this.
right. See, here's the thing. Like everyone's like Justin Herbert, he's had like 5,000 yards a year. It's like, okay, but you put Matt Stafford in that same situation, the receivers are having the same production.
Same production and possibly just better production over then instead of 10 catches for 150 yards, they have 15 catches for
Right.
150 yards and a touchdown. Like
Yeah.
the difference to them is efficiency and overall production, not just flashy numbers. I think
Yeah.
Justin Herbert is like
He broke all the records of like most yards in the first 5 seasons or whatever. So
right, he's new age football without the wins. Like
right.
people love 3-point shooters in NBA. Like if you can shoot a three, you're valued more now than you would have been in the past. His
Sure.
ability to score on one pass makes people overlook his inability to do everything
Sure.
else.
Sure.
So again, we're not here to, be nice to everyone. We're here to ruffle some feathers and just provide our opinion. You can, if you disagree, that's fine. That is absolutely fine. And if you want to put Justin Herbert as one of your S tiers, do what you want to do. We just disagree very hard.
Yeah.
Speaking of guys who aren't very good throwers of the football, Jalen Hurts from the Philadelphia Eagles is our next guy that we have to put on here. Last year, everybody was talking about Jalen Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks
One
in
of those
football.
guys.
One of those
He's
guys.
one of those guys.
One of those S tier Lamar Mahomes guys. I was saying it last year. Just give it time. Jalen Hurts has always had issues throwing the ball. We wanted him on the Vikings. We wanted the Vikings to see if they could get him when he was coming out of the draft.
You
I
went
wasn't
higher than we
super.
thought, though. I
Yeah,
think
yeah. I didn't
you went
expect
second
him to go
round.
that high.
Yeah.
I also thought he was not a first year starter type of guy. He has so
Right.
much to work on. He's still, even starting this many years in the league, he has so much to work on still.
Here's the one thing I have to say about Jalen Hurts. It's actually two things because I
Okay,
can't count.
that's all right.
Um, his rushing production is probably the second best out of all of the rushers, like the
Right.
rushing quarterbacks.
Yep.
Also,
After Lamar, I want him running the ball.
right. Also, um, he did, and maybe this was AJ Brown being AJ Brown, but AJ Brown had a monster season,
Mm-hmm.
and that doesn't
Devontae Smith had
happen
a good season.
without him. Dallas Goedert probably underutilized, but could be one of those really good guys. So, I don't think Jalen Hurts is an A.
I wouldn't put Jalen Hurts as an A either. Just like Josh Allen, their deficiencies in other
He's right.
areas.
He's right. In my opinion, he's right there too. Like he's in that mix with those
Yep.
guys.
I would say he's in the same tier as Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, CJ Stroud. Um, I think he's right in there with those guys because we have them as Bs. I think it's
Here's the thing. Like I could put like Stafford and Herbert between B and C.
right.
That's how I feel.
We
But they're like, yeah, which they are. I mean, like top of C, lowest of B.
Yep.
So
If you put Stafford
so
here, that's fine. If you put Herbert here at the end, that's fine.
if you put Herbert here, you're wrong.
Right. But I think
He's got a ring. He's got a ring.
yeah. This
Yeah,
just I kind of want to do that.
sure. I'm fine with that too. We
Um
highly tout our top of our tier lists.
we
So
do. You shouldn't be able to be up here without earning it. And in our eyes, these players have earned it.
right, sure.
Um
Tua Tagovailoa.
so I do yeah, Jalen Hurts put in the B tier, right next to Josh Allen, Dak Prescott,
Granted,
right
they also
underneath
have
Joe
Jalen Hurts
Burrow.
is also part of a system that has the most bullshit play in the history of plays, but it's okay. It's whatever. It's fine.
I'm fine with the tush push. I just think you're putting a lot of players at risk.
for injury, right?
A
Because
lot of the
if you
offensive
watch it, the offensive linemen just dive at the legs of the defense. Like
right,
they
and
just,
they're putting themselves at risk too. I think a
yeah.
lot of you're having Jalen Hurts have guys behind him, heavy guys are falling on him. If you had a guy, Jalen Hurts is ripped.
Oh yeah, he
Um,
can bench like 600 pounds or squat like 600 pounds.
if you had a guy that wasn't if you had a Justin Fields, a Kyler Murray, that's why other teams aren't able to do it. Like Jalen
Kyler
Hurts,
Murray would get lost in there.
right?
Wouldn't be able to
Kyler
find him
Murray might
afterwards.
go and pop out the other side. Like you
Just be flattened is what it did. Feel like this is Kyler here.
I think the Cowboys could probably do it pretty well because their O-line plus Dak Prescott.
Sure.
But again, you need Jason Kelsey was a huge reason why that worked, and
Right.
and Jalen Hurts is a huge reason why it worked.
Sure.
So yeah, it's kind of a BS play, but I'm okay with it. If you want to
I just don't
stop
like
it,
the
stop it.
injury in like they watched in slow motion and the defensive guys just get their legs just drilled.
Yep.
And it's like
Defensive guys
they
get
have,
their legs drilled, and Jalen Hurts gets fallen on. One of these times, Jalen Hurts is gonna get his ankle rolled on by a
or
300-pound guy.
one of those linebackers is gonna time it perfect and break Hurts' neck. Like
Yeah,
this is
it's
gonna
gonna be something bad.
yeah. So
Uh, I'm unfair to this guy. I'm gonna admit it. Next guy on our list, Jalen Hurts, B tier. Next
Tua
guy is
Tagovailoa.
Tua Tagovailoa. I haven't been fair to him in his evaluation when he came out of the draft. I didn't think he was great. Again, I said I'd take Herbert above him in the draft. I still feel that way. He was compared to Drew Brees. That's blasphemous.
Yeah.
People still compare him to people like Drew Brees when Tua has an insane offense, like a few other guys we've mentioned.
He's got an S tier wide receiver.
He's got an S tier wide receiver. He's got, I think, the highest or second highest backup wide receiver that we rated.
Yeah,
Number
I think
two
we
wide
put
receiver.
Waddle in a B.
I think Waddle and T Higgins were like our two highest backup wide receivers.
Right.
He's got decent running backs behind him. They have a
Career,
decent.
keep in mind, okay, I love a chain. Like he's gonna be a beast next year. He's gonna be up there with Gibbs in regards to like second year running backs. Like they're gonna be insane. But it was also a career year by Raheem Mostert. Like a career year. Like 21 touchdowns by Raheem Mostert. So
and he has one of the best young coaches. I know a lot of people kind of felt iffy about McDaniels this year.
Right.
McDaniels is who I wanted the Vikings to get over KOC. They picked KOC. I wanted him because I thought he was going to bring over the Shanahan offense more than the McVay offense. That's who I liked better.
They both have had great success. I think
and they've both had success.
KOC is the second highest win rate of coaches hired that year. So,
and Mike McDaniel's just third. Awesome in interviews, while KOC's kind of that boring like
team,
plain hoorah answers, just meh. Mike McDaniel's just honest, and I like that. So
funny, sure.
S tier coach for me, or A tier coach, S tier wide receiver, career running back behind. Just all of that.
What was the first thing you said about Tua? You said about him and Herbert, and I don't think you're wrong there. Like I'd put him in that. I'd put him above Jordan Love.
I wouldn't. He's
proven.
Jordan Love made it how far in the playoffs? How far did Tua make the playoffs?
Yeah, but they had.
Has Tua ever made the playoffs once? Is he 0 for 1 or is he 0 for 0?
I mean, Jordan Love also kind of made it because the Vikings shit the bed too. But
when they got there, his best games were in the playoffs. I don't think Tua is above Trevor Lawrence. I don't think Tua's above Jordan Love, and I don't think Tua's above Justin Herbert.
No, right.
So I would put him slightly above Jared Goff.
Sure, that's fine.
I would keep him in the C tier.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me you think Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, Justin Herbert, and Matt Stafford on that Miami offense aren't.
Well, Justin Herbert with the Miami offense is going to put up the same stats
as he puts on Chargers, 5,000 yards and whatever.
Exactly.
Which is still
they're going to have the same playoff success.
But if you put Matt Stafford or Jordan Love on that, offense. Trevor Lawrence probably looks like the guy we expect him to be. I don't know. Tua's so rough. He's so rough. He's just another one of those guys. I wish I could see what other people see. Like,
Sure.
I've said it a million times. I want every single player in the NFL to succeed, maybe except for Kirby Joseph.
Yeah.
I want every
Right.
other player in the NFL to reach Hall of Fame numbers. When I wanted Justin Fields on the Vikings too. When he got drafted by the Bears, I was like, okay, that sucks because I want Justin Fields to do well, and we have to go against him twice a year. I wanted Jordan Love to do well.
Apparently, just because you brought up Justin Fields, apparently the Vikings tried to move up to get Justin Fields.
Yep.
Apparently, they tried to move up to get Anthony Richardson.
Yep.
So I'm very curious to how they do this year because apparently they've wanted to get a guy, but they haven't gotten the guy. So
But I want no matter how we rank all these guys, outside of this guy at the bottom here and Kirby Joseph, you have a handful of players I don't want to do well. I'm actively rooting against.
Right.
But that hate I don't want to put out there. I want Tua to be a successful starting NFL quarterback. If I am starting a franchise right now, he is one of the last picks I would want. And I'm just I don't know. I like watching film. I like watching stuff. And when I watch Tua, I don't see what everybody sees.
Sure.
If we had some sort of, maybe we'll do this in the future, if we had some sort of like veto, we each get to veto the other person's opinion. I'm going to put him where I want. And you said, I'm vetoing Tua and we're putting Tua in B. I'd be like, fine. You know what? That's fine.
Well, I wouldn't do that.
But I just don't. I think he is perfectly in the middle of the average guys.
Sure.
Long story short, or long story long, sorry guys. So yeah, Tua we put in C. Next,
Mr. Irrelevant.
Next is Brock Purdy. Again, I've mentioned this before. The only thing I'm more annoyed of than Michael Jordan versus LeBron James is Brock Purdy a good quarterback? In my eyes, yes, he's a good quarterback. I don't want to go into details. He has a stacked offense, just like these guys, except unlike these guys, he's taken that stacked offense to the Super Bowl. He is a perfect game manager, does everything he's supposed to do without those mistakes. And so he's never asked to step up. That's why he isn't viewed as like one of the big guys. But when he is asked to step up, he's about a 60-40, 70-30 shot of doing the right thing.
Right.
Which is pretty much all you can ask for people. I think these guys up here do slightly better than that. When you ask Kirk to step up, he's asked to do it a lot more.
No, here's the thing with Kirk. As soon as you get him with that little Gatorade cup on the sideline sipping it, it's over. It's over.
In the moments of the game when you want Mahomes to step up, he goes
move Kirk up to S for a second. That's Kirk with the Gatorade cup.
This is Kirk shirtless with chains on his neck.
Right.
But like Joe Burrow, if you ran the ball 50 times with Joe Mixon and then had Joe Burrow pass the ball 5 times, you're expecting 5 out of 5. He's going to go 5 for 5 for however many yards, maybe a touchdown. Same with like the Lamar. Lamar might run it. Mahomes might go 5 for 5 with 3 touchdowns. You don't know. Josh Allen might go 2 for 5 with 3 interceptions and a touchdown.
Yeah, that's true.
Jalen Hurts might run one in, pass one in. Dak, like these guys, if you had them pass 5 times in a game, I think they do really well. When Brock Purdy is asked to you pass 5 times, I think 3 out of the 5 times, it's going to be exactly where you want it and it's going to be successful. 2 out of the 5 times, you're hoping the guy he throws it to is the one that makes the play.
Sure. Yeah.
So in my eyes, Brock Purdy is a low B right after CJ Stroud.
I'm okay with that, just with how he's had the season. And we saw it's also unfair because most if you're from Minnesota, most Vikings fans saw the um the bad side of Purdy,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like through 3 interceptions, like he was getting tossed around by the defense, like, and that's what a lot of people think of Purdy,
Yep.
at least from the Minnesota standpoint. But like every other time, it's like you check your phone and you're like, oh, the Niners won by 21 points. Nice.
Oh, Brock Purdy
Oh,
had 4 touchdowns.
right. He had 200 yards, but he had 4 touchdowns.
Right,
So,
200 yards, 4 touchdowns, similar to Lamar. Lamar has
right.
220 yards, but 4 touchdowns.
And 100 rushing yards.
But yeah, and then you add the rushing yards for Lamar,
Right.
and you add the situational offense, and then
Yeah.
Lamar takes that
Right. Yeah.
massive
Because
leap.
Lamar doesn't have those weapons. Like,
Exactly. So that's
so
what makes Lamar so much better
right.
is Purdy has the same numbers until you get to the situational.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's right now that low B is a perfect spot for
Yeah.
Purdy. He might not be that, he might not be a Kirk Cousins. He might not be a Joe Burrow, but he's right there with
I mean,
Dak.
yeah. If you're like you really want like Brock Purdy over Matt Stafford and Justin Herbert, I'd be like, do you want to get to the Super Bowl? Because
Right.
that's what Brock Purdy just did. So I agree. As far as
Sweet.
game managers go, he's the gamiest of the game.
Right. Tom Brady was the best game manager to ever exist.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Speaking
Tom
of the
Brady
Patriots,
game managers are the quarterbacks that don't have the game breaker or the gunslinger stuff. So they have to neck up, has to be perfect. And when I look at
every
these
quarterback's a
guys,
game manager. Like everyone is.
right, all these guys are very good game managers, but all of these guys above Purdy have more game breaker to them.
Yeah. No,
In the
I
last
agree.
2 minutes of the game, I'd rather have these guys over Purdy.
Yeah.
But in the last 2 minutes of the game, I'd rather have Purdy over any of these.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I agree. Mac Jones is god awful. And when he made the Pro Bowl, how the hell did he make the Pro
he was
Bowl?
an
Because
alternate.
Mac Jones, he was god awful.
So for those, we put B for Brock. Mac Jones, we put in the F right under Bryce Young. He's just so bad.
He's not good.
there's-
And I got to give him the benefit of the doubt because he has nothing in New England, but also, I mean, I don't know.
So
Like,
when the 49ers traded up and got Trey Lance, the rumor was that they were going to take Mac Jones. And then when they heard how like Kyle Shanahan and whatever had to be talked out of Mac Jones because they just wanted a game manager type guy.
sure.
Does Mac Jones look good on the Niners? I don't think so.
No, he
Mac
doesn't.
Jones makes all those people would not think what they think about Brandon Ayuk if Mac Jones is their QB.
Right.
Mac Jones is not anybody below C is currently either unknown, like Anthony Richardson, or fighting for their life to be even called a NFL quarterback.
Dude, I would take Aiden O'Connell over Mac Jones.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Mac Jones is.
I watched Aiden O'Connell do a 2-minute drive, and I don't trust Mac Jones to ever do a 2-minute drive.
If you said Desmond Ritter is the only starting quarterback that you would rather, Mac Jones is the only person you'd rather have over Desmond Ritter or whatever.
Yeah. I'd believe you.
Yeah, I'd believe you. Mac Jones is so bad.
Yeah.
And people that still want him, like apparently he's in the line for competing for starter because the Patriots might be trading down from their position because they have so many positions of need. If the Patriots trade down, they're saying this is a 5-year project and they're trying to tank again for another top pick because you're not going anywhere with Mac.
They don't have any wide receivers either. Zero.
Right. You have no quarterback and you have no wide receivers and no quarterback to throw those.
And the running back you rely on gets hurt because you have to rely on him so much, Ramondre Stevenson. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Right.
I don't like talking that way about people, but man, Mac's bad.
Yeah.
Geno Smith. I I feel like out of respect for what he's done with his career, you can't put him super low, but he's not the guy that you're trying to say like he's the guy that you go, is there a guy that we can get for a value to keep us afloat? We got Gino.
Where would you put him? I want to see where you put him. Okay. Because I would have probably put him above Tua.
That's fine. If I'm all for moving guys up higher. Like if you want to move him up, move Tua up higher, and then Gino, that's fine.
Mainly
I
because Gino also has the heart. You
Yeah,
know, none of those guys do they like would any of those guys pump me up below
Gino
him?
pumps me up.
Right.
Do I expect so
Kyler
guys?
Murray you can't hear because he's like just
Kyler
like
Murray,
way
you
down
can't
there.
hear, and he's unless he's on the other end of a headset because he's
Right.
playing the games.
Right.
Um, Jared Goff, I think, is perfect. Like he does as he's told,
Right.
so he's not going to tell me what to do because he's waiting to be told what to do.
Yeah.
Um, Tua, I feel kind of similarly about, and
Yeah.
Justin Fields is too panicked about his situation
Right.
to ever worry about what other people are doing.
It's like, why are you telling the receivers which routes they're gonna run? You're not throwing the
You're
ball.
not
Like,
throwing the ball,
right.
but Gino, he's serviceable. He's a good. He manages the game well. He can run
Right.
if needed, but he doesn't really run.
Right.
And his receivers, he when a team outperforms, that's coach quarterback. They don't have the coach anymore, but Gino's good.
And they
Gino's a
had
C
zero run
tier.
game too. They had zero run game this year.
Yeah.
So
And DK's numbers were still good.
yeah.
So Gino, C tier. Aaron Rodgers. It's hard because again, we didn't see him this year.
Yeah.
He hasn't thrown over 300 yards in like 27 games or whatever it was. It's something insane. At this point in his career, he's not a B for me.
Right. Yeah, but you put Stafford in B out of respect. You
So is he a B
so
out of
I
respect?
mean, I don't know. I think he's above Stafford. I mean, they both got one ring. If you're
So
doing out
then
of
do you
respect, if
do
you're doing out of
this?
respect, I don't. I'd probably move Rodgers down above him. I don't know. That's what I would do.
So for those not able to see, we were just
We
debating
watch we
between
watch
low B, high
Rodgers
C.
destroy us
Oh yeah, we've watched
for
him destroy the
years.
Vikings for years, but we've also watched Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon destroy us on the ground for
Sure.
like
If you're
250
doing this,
combined yards.
if you were to put Stafford there out of respect, I feel like you got to put Rodgers there out of respect.
Okay.
That's my.
So where do we want to officially put him? The top of the C's or the bottom of the B's?
I'd put him. You put him in the C originally, so I think we keep him in the
Okay.
C's.
Sounds good to
That's
me.
what I would do.
At this
That's what I
point
would
in
do.
his career, I don't see him outperforming guys like CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
I
I
could see
agree.
him having a game or two where you see what looks like old Aaron,
Right.
but at this point, he needs a defense. Jets have it. He needs running game. Jets have it. So they're going to win games on him being a game manager.
They got a stud at wide receiver too.
His whole thing is not throwing interceptions. Aaron Rodgers needs to be the best game manager he can be, and the Jets are good.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we got him. I think I'm gonna have to let you do the next one. So we got Aaron Rodgers as a C tier, top of the C's. Next is Baker Mayfield from the Tampa Bay Bucks. Um, I really think
uh, where's Baker for
most
me?
people aren't Baker fans
Where's Baker for me?
because we're gonna
Um,
have to find like a good average here because Baker is like right under Lamar.
Baker is. I would put Baker above Geno Smith.
Okay,
That's where I would put him.
right there.
Right there. Like you're telling me from like and this is for like future too. Like this is the whole it's compiling everything, past, present, future.
Yep.
Would I want T Law? or Jordan Love over Baker for the future? Probably.
If you're
Yeah.
including for the future, yes. If you're including what they've done now, I'd do that. So I think it's fair to put
You had a you
Baker.
had a you had a really good season by Rashad White. You had Mike Evans being Mike Evans. Mike Evans is gone now.
Yep.
So
Baker's probably
God,
gone.
yeah. So Godwin's not
Most
like
guys that have played on
Godwin.
4 teams aren't B tier.
Yeah.
So
So
it's you can't really put him B.
that's where I would put him.
But would I rather have him over Tua or Goff? Probably.
Yeah.
Did the guys in the locker room have nothing but good things to say about him in Tampa? Yes. Did the guys in the locker room love him in Carolina? It was like 60-40. The Browns, they just sided with Kevin Stefanski, but the guys anonymously said they loved Baker. So usually I trust the players. The players loved Baker. I love Baker. I want to put him higher, but again, just like Josh Allen, just like other guys on this list, I have to take my own bias away. I think Baker in C tier is just fine.
Yeah.
So Baker, C tier. Next is Kenny Pickett. Just
God awful.
Kenny Pickett's another F tier. Like I probably would rather have Danny Dimes and Bryce Young over him too, and
Here's
Aiden
the thing.
O'Connell.
Here's the thing. Like their offense is good.
Yep.
Like they got 2 B guys. Like they got Deontay Johnson, good.
Mm-hmm.
George Pickens, good. Freiermuth, good. Jalen Warren, good. Najee Harris, good. Kenny Pickett, not good. So it's like it's just it's the cog that makes the wheel go round, and the cog does not work.
This has been a hot topic in the NFL as of late too. Mike Tomlin.
Yeah,
I think Mike Tomlin's one of the best coaches in history.
Right.
I know that is apparently no longer believed. People used to say that, but now apparently that's not.
How he
true.
went 10-7 with that roster is, I have no idea.
You can't and they fired an offensive coordinator midseason.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin is too good of a coach. That is why Kenny Pickett won games. Mike Tomlin he's too good of an NFL coach and underappreciated. So Kenny Pickett's an F tier. No matter any quarterback that plays for Mike Tomlin is going to do well. Kenny Pickett is not good.
Right.
Sam Howell.
I think he's a D because halfway through the season, he was the leader in passing yards. So does that mean much? No, but it means that he can rip it a little bit.
For the first half of the season, people were talking about him being a franchise quarterback. So you're saying he's C or B. For the second half of the season, he reverted back. So he's much like Taylor Heineke, where he's probably not an NFL starter, which all these C guys, C and above means you're probably an NFL starter.
Right.
He's probably not an NFL starter.
Right.
But
Terry McLaurin had 0 touchdowns this year, but he had 1,000 yards. So
Curtis Samuel or whatever. What is
Curtis Samuel had a really good year.
Yeah. So he's also got good weapons. They lost the defense that they had, and
they traded all of their starting D line.
Right, and then they had a tumultuous quarterback executive room or like a coaching room. So I like Sam Howell, but Anthony Richardson's going to be the highest D we have because he's an unknown. Sam Howell is that next guy.
Yeah.
And lastly is Will Levis. I mean,
you put him there too. I mean, I don't. It's D for don't know. I think.
Yeah, it's D for don't know for him. Is he better than Derek Carr? We don't know. Is he better than Danny Dimes? Probably. So is that a high bar? No. Will Levis, I don't have much to say outside of until he fixes that attitude, which like he doesn't have a bad necessarily like negative attitude, but he has that he needs to go through something like Baker did. Maybe get cut and go to another team, grow up a little bit.
Right.
When you watch him play, he has that.
He thinks he's the shit.
Right. What have you done that makes you think you're that good?
Right. You hit DeAndre Hopkins on 3 streak routes in the game, probably because the cornerback sucked, not because you threw the ball well.
Right.
So
you're in a terrible division, and yet you still don't look above
Right.
average. So maybe wake up.
Yeah.
So yeah, finish it off with Will Levis as a D. Here is our final tier list. We got 2 in the S's, just like wide receivers. We got 2 in the A's. We had more than that in for the wide receivers.
Yeah, we had like 6 or 7 wide receivers, but we also had 2 times the players.
Well, quick overall recap here. Anybody in C, it might look like, wow, C, you're saying these guys are bad. Again, no. Anybody that's C means we think they can be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And that these teams might be able to make the playoffs, even go into a round or 2 into the playoffs. I think anybody above Baker might take you a couple rounds into the playoffs. But I think you need B or above to win the Super Bowl. I think
agree.
anybody in B
Yeah.
tier or above could win the Super Bowl.
And that's shocking because we have Dak Prescott. Do I think the Cowboys could ever win the Super Bowl? Not with how their first round exits at best. But
I think the
if you
guys
get a
with the
miracle
hardest journey
run,
to the Super Bowl are Dak, Jalen, Josh Allen, Kirk, Burrow, Lamar, and Mahomes. Why? Because the team has to draft perfect. The guys with the easiest path, Brock Purdy, CJ Stroud. Because you can re-sign guys, you can build guys, you can sign free agents for whatever you want because these guys are making nothing.
Yeah.
Any of these guys that took huge deals are saying, I am depending on my GM to be perfect.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, we put them in S tier because they don't have to have that perfect team. They can do it themselves.
They can win a game themselves.
Yep. They can win a game themselves. Absolutely. Which means we are saying Kirk Cousins, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. So Josh Allen, Kirk Cousins, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Those are your top 5 QBs in the NFL. In that order. So we're still saying Josh Allen's top 5 for those of you that were pissed about him being in the B tier because I know you're out there. Until
same with
Jalen Hurts,
same with Dak Prescott, same with.
Yeah, and we're saying that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're still saying Aaron Rodgers made the top 10. He might be in the C tier, but he's still a top 10 QB. We're saying Brock Purdy is a B tier. He's not, even though he's in the Super Bowl.
And if you want to say that we gave Rodgers and Stafford right there out of respect, then Herbert's your top 10.
That means then Herbert and Jordan Love are your top 10s.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence is right on the outside of that. So really, like,
yeah.
If you skip to the end and got to the summary, that's what I want you to take away from this is like, we put these guys here, if you want to say out of respect, Justin Herbert and Jordan Love, still top 10. Trevor Lawrence is right on the outside. Josh Allen, still top 5. Jalen Hurts, right on the outside there. Like, this is not slandering these guys' names. And anybody in this, again, C and above, be happy to start your team with. It's just if you're in the C tier, you might be looking to replace. Think that's fine. And anybody, D, Anthony Richardson might seem unfair. D is just don't know. He's not D for talent. We just don't know. We don't know with Will Levis, but we do know these guys probably not great. Anybody in F tier, all of these teams should be trying to either trade up or draft a first-round quarterback. Panthers, I think you're SOL. Sell the team. You're screwed.
I think you are SOL.
Yep.
Man, you could have had a number 1 pick again this year.
But you traded it for the wrong pick because you disagreed. You hired Frank Reich to run your team and then disagreed with what he thought it would do.
Yeah. Any of those top 3 guys, any of those top probably 5, 6, 7 guys this year probably would be better than Bryce Young.
If Bryce Young is in this year's draft class, he might not be considered a top 5 candidate.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what
reaching does. And you traded a top 10
and it's what
wide receiver probably.
Not thinking about the future does. Sorry, I had to check the time.
Yeah.
It's what not thinking about the future does too. So thank you all. This has been one of our longest episodes. This is longest on this channel.
You could split it up into 2 parts if you wanted to.
We could.
So we want to keep it short, not run an hour, but
people can put it on in the background while they're at work. That's what I do with my sports stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, just overall, let us know what you think. Comment, tweet us, whatever you want. I think this is fair. I personally think there are guys tomorrow. If you ask me, there might be guys like Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. Maybe tomorrow I feel in a better mood putting them in Bs. But for the most part, I feel like we nailed this pretty good.
Yeah.
I think in order it's good. I think in tiers it's good. I think we got a couple guys that if people sat and really thought about it, this list is not offensive when you think about top 10, all that.
Yeah,
I don't
and
mean to ramble,
wide receivers, I think in the same boat. Like if you look at our S and A for wide receivers, we didn't miss.
right.
But like if you B and C, they're kind of interchangeable.
You can kind of put these guys in any order you want for the most part. Like these guys can put you in any order on this tier. These guys can be in any order this tier. These guys at the bottom, you might be able to move down. These guys at the top might be able to move up.
Right.
And then I think D, F, and P, we nailed it.
Yeah, exactly.
And just for those little quick bonus for those of you that got to the end of this video, if I were to put Deshaun Watson in an actual list, I'd put him in D.
Yeah.
If I were to actually put him in it, but I just
for how many times he whipped out his D during massages is what that's for.
And because I think I would probably put him between Russell Wilson and Derek Carr or Russell Wilson and Sam Howell.
Yeah.
But he belongs in this own list away from NFL quarterbacks because he shouldn't be one.
Right.
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, please. And we'll see you all next time let us know what position you want us to do next. Check out our other channels, Glazier Gamble.
Probably running backs.
We can do running backs. Tight ends. Offensive centers. All right, everybody. You all look great today. G.
Don't do GG. Shocker.
JJ.
Let's go.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah, I'm tired of my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt.